All right, guys, we've got some very TMZ, lefty TMZ-esque footage here. So Sam Seder, who by the way has passed Jimmy Dore in subscribers now, he uploaded a video titled "Sam Seder Dives Deep on Steven Crowder." It's a long 31-minute video, and it's a deep dive on his opinions about the whole Steven Crowder Carlos Maza situation. And in this, he goes in and he talks about Jimmy Dore and basically responds to Jimmy Dore's garbage that he put up. And actually, I think it's deleted now. The people who had sent me the video, I think it was Kid Show Business on Twitter, I think he said that that Jimmy Dore actually took it down from his paywall. So like, you can't get that content anywhere at this point. But I think that they already uploaded it, and I posted it on Twitter, of course. So they react to this footage. Now we're going to be looking at three different parts here. So this first part, Sam Seder is actually going to make a very interesting claim. Let's be sure to go ahead and check this out.
With Maza calling for Crowder to stop doing what he's doing. What's this? Is this Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah, here's our old friend Jimmy Dore, who was so toxic they had to jettison him from TYT. Oh, no, I know he wanted to go tour. He wanted to go tour.
This is, okay, so
Here he is.
He throws that in very subtly and very quickly, right? Now, is there any truth to this is the question. So if you don't know what he's saying there, basically, as you guys know, Jimmy Dore left the Young Turks. I can't recall exactly when it was. It was probably like 2 months ago or somewhere around there, roughly. I forgot exactly when it happened. But Jimmy Dore sort of somewhat abruptly left the Young Turks. You know, he puts out, he goes on live stream, and he gets choked up towards the end. He gets very emotional, and basically he calls them corporate and says he's not really down with that whole game, and so he left the Young Turks, presumably because of all the Russiagate stuff that he perceives them to be believing in, or whatever stuff that he thinks is going down over at, the Young Turks. And so the general understanding of what happened in that situation was Jimmy Dore decided to leave because of things that he saw that he didn't like, and so he left. Now, what Sam is claiming here is that he was jettisoned from the Young Turks. Now, the thing is we don't know if Sam is joking here or if he's being serious or not, and that's why we'd probably need to ask him whether or not he was joking or whether he was being serious, because otherwise we can't really tell. But let's say he's being serious here, right? Because I think there are good odds he's just joking. But let's hypothetically say he's being serious here. If in a hypothetical sense he's being serious here, that would be pretty significant. So what are some of Sam Seder's ties to the Young Turks? How would he have any of this information? He's one of the channels that are under the Young Turks umbrella. So he's literally under the umbrella of the Young Turks. Recall also that Jimmy Dore, not only was his channel was actually owned by the Young Turks. Like, that was originally a TYT owned channel, the same way the Rubin Report was. So, but Jimmy Dore purchased the channel from the Young Turks. Not only that, he was also had his own aggressive progressive show, and so there's even more, even deeper stuff there. But Sam Seder is one of the people. His channel is one of the umbrella channels of the Young Turks. So don't underestimate the sort of sources or whatever he may have, which makes me to believe, it's possible. But again, we have to take it with a grain of salt simply because there was no evidence presented with this. And it's not even 100% clear that he's being serious. Although you kind of get that from him, that he is kind of being serious here. And so he's basically asserting that, Jimmy kind of claims that he wanted to go on tour, but really it was because TYT decided to, let him go because he was so toxic. So that's that part. It's extremely brief. Let me know your thoughts on that. But it continues here. He starts to go after Jimmy Dore even more here. So, we'll let him talk, and then I'll tell you about it.
Who are you kidding? Jimmy Dore cries like a little baby. And I know this for a fact. Because I know the people he cried to about it. When he was made to look stupid. And I didn't raise it because these people are mutual friends. But I had people talk to me. Jimmy's upset. He's upset because you made him look like an idiot. Well, I'm sorry. He made himself look like an idiot.
True.
I wasn't going to say anything about it because he told me he was ill and he was suffering, whatever. But if this is the game we're going to play, you're going to cry about your illness when there are people dying in Yemen? Seriously? You're going to cry about that stuff when there's climate change? I mean, give me a break. What a baby. What a disingenuous baby. All right, we've gone too long.
So look, when he says that, right, he's talking about the assertion that he's making there is, if you don't know, Sam Seder and Jimmy Dore had a pretty important debate right prior to the 2016 election, and Sam Seder basically curb stomped him into the ground, basically into a coffin, essentially. And Jimmy Dore made incredibly stupid claims, all of which proved to be false. For example, he thought that that the Democrats in Congress would be able to block multiple Supreme Court justices when they don't even have the numbers to do that. It's literally impossible because recall that they used the nuclear option and therefore the Supreme Court justice only needed a simple majority rather than a 60-vote supermajority. So they literally don't have the numbers to filibuster it. They don't have the numbers for it because they changed the rules. They used the nuclear option. So he turned out to be wrong on literally pretty much everything. He said, for example, that Paul Ryan wouldn't usher in his plans when, of course, we saw things under Paul Ryan, such as the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, go through. And he thought the left would coalesce. The left is not coalesced. It's as divided as ever. So he turned out to be completely wrong. And Sam Seder asserts here that basically that Jimmy Dore had gone to other people and cried about that. Now, this I 100% believe. Jimmy Dore is a very childlike human being. He's not intellectual. He's very emotional and stupid, as he admits himself. He literally calls himself the dumb jack-off comedian. So he says it himself. It's self-advertised. And also, I believe I'd seen a comment from him. This was way back in 2016, where in the comment sections of that debate, I don't know if the comment is still there or not. You can check and let me know. But he did put in a comment saying like Sam creates straw mans and then argues against them or something like that. So he did seem like he was kind of salty about that. And of course, he's been ghosting Sam Seder for a long time, for a while now. For a very long time at this point. This I 100% believe. Also, another example of Jimmy Dore being a little baby and an egotist as well. During his live stream, in which he had announced that, he was leaving the Young Turks. He also, for a second, had Whined that Tulsi Gabbard was going on the Young Turks. He was like, "Oh wait, Tulsi's here and she's going on the Young Turks and hasn't come on our show again? Wow." Like, he was legitimately, like, pissed about that. And obviously we know about how he doesn't like Bernie because he didn't come on his show, and he likes Tulsi because she did. The man is a child. He's a man baby. We all know that. So I have no doubt that that's true, that he went and cried to people who are mutual friends of his, of theirs. I totally believe that. Jimmy Dore is a child. He is a little baby, dude. It's crazy. He's a baby in a man's body. It's pretty remarkable. So then after, and by the way, I want to mention that when he brings up the Yemen thing, what he's doing is he's mocking Jimmy Dore in a pretty effective way, I would say, because, before I actually get into that, actually, Jimmy Dore does have an illness and he does have like a medical condition. I don't know the status of his medical condition, but I think he had some back or hip problem that was really, really extreme. And so, yeah, he definitely does have that. I don't know what he does or, what the status is of that, but he talked about it on Joe Rogan's podcast. But when he's memeing that, I don't know if this is the right thing to meme or to mock, but Jimmy Dore, his co-host, brought up, like, oh, what about the families of the kids in Yemen? In response to Carlos Maza, who, as Sam Seder brings up, he actually shows a video of it, about how Carlos Maza literally has a video going after the media for boosting things like what's going on in Yemen. Hilariously. It's incredible. And so he's like, mocking that. Like, oh, wow, why? What does the kids in Yemen have to do with this specific situation? Especially when Carlos Maza is against that, and he's made a video being against what's going on in Yemen as well as essentially everywhere else. So now he's gonna go after his use of hair dye, which is gonna be interesting.
And I don't know. I mean, to have to say like, well, you shouldn't complain about it because of what's going on in Yemen. Seriously? Are you effing serious? My God, how demented do you have to be? How much? How dangerous are those chemicals that you're putting in your hair? Oh, is that childish? To make fun of him for his bad dye job? Should I be banned?
I think that is an example of the appropriate kind of ad hominem to do.
Exactly. One that kids are just not going to deal with. All right. I get a little caught up in that. I just think this is disgusting. I just think it's absolutely disgusting. I mean, my God. I get it. You got to brand yourself because Michael Tracy went on and said something about it. And so
no. It's Michael Tracky.
That's your
say it correctly, Sam.
Crew, your tribe, that said we're not going to we're not going to side with the guy from Vox because I don't like Vox. You dye your hair when kids are dying in Yemen? Are you serious? Why don't you send that money to Yemen instead of buying your hair dye? That's what an ad hominem is. That doesn't pertain to a whole class of people. But I know he's not going to be bothered by that.
I don't think our channel should be financially demonetized. Just sitting with that idea, I don't like it. Yeah, it's not solid thinking.
I know there's a lot of you out there who are going to clip that little segment where it says like, where specifically where I said, you're crying about kids with Yemen and the hair dye. And I know you.
I feel like he's speaking directly to me when he said that. I don't know why. When I first heard this, I was like, wait, is he talking to me? Anyways, so he throws in a little bit of a jab over Jimmy's hair dye. Now, I guess Jimmy definitely dyes his hair for sure. And I guess it's just some sort of a, whatever sort of joke type of thing that Sam's doing in response to, usually whenever there's something that is perceived to be really disgusting from someone, it usually not only gives you sort of in your mind a pass, but, a lot of times like it's justified to basically make jokes about somebody. So for example, right? Let's say you made a joke about Ben Shapiro not being able to ride roller coasters, right? Now, that it probably isn't a really good joke it's not a good joke to make about just any, normal short person who's never done anything wrong to you or anything like that, right? Or in general said anything that's extremely, bad. But if you realize it's Ben Shapiro and realize all the crazy stuff that he said, the horrible stuff that he said, then you're like, oh, wait a second. It's okay to make that joke about Ben Shapiro because he's a horrible person. And so that's kind of the mindset here of Sam Seder, where he's like, oh, look at Jimmy Dore, who's basically saying, he's like, he laughs at it. That's what he laughs at Carlos Maz's situation. That's what he does. The dude who got doxxed, like he's laughing at him. He's laughing. He's making jokes. And so in Sam's mind, it gives him a pass. And in fact, it's warranted and justified and beneficial to make jokes about his bad hair dye. And so, I guess it is. And again, the mockery that he's using there, I think, is that was probably the more effective way than the illness one, because I don't think the illness one was very good. I think that was probably bad optics. But this one was better simply because it's just hair dye. So it's funny. The whole Yemen thing, that really has to become a meme, honestly, at this point of anything that he says that's not related to Yemen. You'd be like, what about the kids in Yemen? Because it's just so random that that's brought up. But we just went through a lot here. I'm very curious to see your comments down below. Please leave thoughtful comments down below about different issues that were covered in this. I really want to hear them. And yeah, I want to hear your thoughts down below.